radio, smart speakers, and our free mobile app, WSKO Syracuse. A Cumulus media station, the voice of the Central New York sports fan, The Score, 1260. Welcome to your home for local sports in Syracuse. Outside the Box Score with Mark Rowlands starts right now.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Outside the Box Score with me, Mark Rowlands, your home for local sports in Syracuse, right here on The Score 1260. A lot of things to talk about today. Solo show. Josh is in Toronto, visiting our neighbors to the north, going to the Elimination Chamber for the WWE. Wants to see John Cena clinch that spot in WrestleMania. So, Josh, have fun in Toronto, buddy. We'll miss you. He'll be back next week, hopefully. And we'll have some things to catch up on in the world of WWE and more, especially Syracuse basketball. They play today, 12 o'clock, tilt against Virginia Tech in Blacksburg. Coming off of a win against NC State here at the JMA Wireless Dome, 74-60. SU winning that one on Wednesday night. J.J. Starlin leading the way with 17 points. We'll talk about that game because I watched a fair bit of that one. To be honest, I didn't watch the entire thing. I was at Myers Creek Brewing Company, our good friends, playing trivia on Wednesday night. It was the final week of the winter trivia tournament that Syracuse Trivia Company puts on. And once again, Bedrock Construction will be representing Myers Creek Brewing Company at the Tournament of Champions. That's right. For the third time out of the last 5 tournaments, Bedrock Construction are the champs to come out of Myers Creek Brewing Company. I was there drinking some delicious beer. The Dark Lager is back, one of my personal favorites. It's a very traditional style German dark lager. Absolutely delicious. So I had a couple of those. Had some delicious food. I got the mac and cheese, as I often do. Always delicious. It's my favorite thing on their menu. That and their beef on weck sandwich. They do a great beef on weck at Myers Creek. There with not even the full team. The Manchild, Jim the Manchild Lurch, not there on Wednesday. So we were a little shy in terms of numbers, but finished 4th on the night, but were able to clinch the spot in the Tournament of Champions. So you'll be seeing Bedrock Construction once again try to go for that big tournament. I doubt we'll do very well. I played in the last one we did, and it's tough. Those big trivia tournaments, I mean, you got like 100-something teams. Or maybe not 100-something teams, but 55, 60 teams. Whew. They're tough, man. These are some real good trivia players. We're pretty good. We've got a really good balance on our team. But some of these people are just mad. Really just. And it's not like general or not regular trivia at this big tournament. Like, I remember the last time we went, there was one category because they changed the category of every round. And we had to name the song and the artist that was playing. Like, they would just play it over the speakers, which sounds easy. But what they did was they spliced in like random sounds into the song that were louder than the song itself. So the song was like in the background of all of these random noises that was really frustrating because these are pretty well-known songs, but you just can't hear them. It was a very frustrating round. So I'm hoping maybe for this tournament it goes more towards just, trivia, which is what we do every week, and not this, gimmicky sort of thing that they were doing during that round. But so I was at Myers Creek for this game and paying as much attention as I could for, also playing trivia while the game was playing. Myers Creek, great spot to go watch a game, by the way. They got some big TVs there, and this is at the tap room in the Inner Harbor. And some, you got 3-4 big TVs in there. Always got games on. Really solid spot to watch a game. And it's so we were there, and just a lot of fun, as it always is. But I was watching the game. Eddie Lampkin, good game. 14 points, 15 rebounds. He's been really solid recently. Eddie's been doing very well recently. Jair Davis, 15 points, just a solid, steady presence for Syracuse throughout the year. And J.J. Starling, 17 points, 6 of 12 shooting, 1 of 3 from the three-point line, 4 of 7 from the charity stripe. So it was an all-around performance from Syracuse. So only scored 74 points, not their best offensive performance of the year. Defense looks solid, only giving up 60, holding NC State to 34% from the field, 29% from behind the arc. Syracuse, one of their better shooting days percentage-wise on the season, 58.3% from the field and 37.5% from behind the three-point line. They didn't take many. They only took 8. But hey, they made 3 out of those 8. Didn't really need the 3 ball that much in that one. So Syracuse now owns the tiebreaker over NC State if the things were to come down to that for the ACC tournament. Remember, not everyone makes the conference tournament in the ACC anymore. All of a sudden, you got 3 teams at the bottom of the standings that are left out of the tournament entirely. Syracuse vying for one of those last bids in the ACC tournament. NC State struggling a bit this year, 11 and 17. Now, firmly behind Syracuse, but in case something were to happen, Syracuse now owns the tiebreaker. So that's pretty good for Syracuse. They've got 4 teams behind them right now: the Cal Golden Bears, NC State, as mentioned, Boston College, and Miami. Interesting that one of those teams is a team that Syracuse lost to this year. The Miami Hurricanes, who are 2-15 in conference, but we're not going to talk about that. So a good game for Syracuse on Wednesday night. Like I said, they play 12 o'clock today down in Blacksburg, Virginia, against the Virginia Tech Hokies. 12 o'clock on everyone's favorite network to watch the ACC, the CW. Make sure to check that out. We will break down that game a little bit, but there's something different I want to talk about with Syracuse basketball today. Sam Holland, who, if you aren't familiar, started a media company here in Syracuse called No Destination. Not really around anymore. It was pretty short-lived because Sam moved out of Syracuse a couple of months ago. But he started an NIL company here in Syracuse, the first NIL company in Syracuse. He ran the Barstool Syracuse Twitter and social media accounts while he was in college. He was a student at SU and has really done a lot of really good things on the NIL side for Syracuse. He's worked closely with Eddie Lampkin and J.J. Starling and Choppa Moore. So some of the bigger names on the Syracuse basketball team he's been associated with. Him and Eddie and Choppa had a podcast on the No Destination Network. Like I said, that was started by Sam Holland. He did a very extensive Q&A on Twitter the other day. It was on February 25th. And during the show today, I want to go through some of the things he mentioned about how Syracuse NIL is run, because I talked about this with Neil Adler last week, the editor over at Inside the Loud House. Great having Neil on the show last week. Love talking to him. And I've talked about this with many a Syracuse fan, many a Syracuse alum, and just casual observers of college sports about why Syracuse seems to be struggling from an NIL standpoint when, in our minds, and this is a very self-centered Syracuse fan way to look at it, but I'm a lifelong Syracuse fan. I've lived here my entire life. Grew up bleeding orange, will continue to bleed orange. And I know that Syracuse fans, I've said it on this show before, can be quite spoiled a lot of the time, and with good reason, especially when it comes to the basketball program. We were spoiled for almost 50 years of consistent tournament runs, consistent 20, 25, 30-win seasons. Or 30 when it's all said and done, with the tournament. So Syracuse fans can be quite spoiled, with good reason, for a lot of it. And a lot of people, myself included, have been curious about how the NIL situation with Syracuse athletics works. So Sam did a great job breaking down some of the aspects of how name, image, and likeness at Syracuse University is operating. So we're going to get into that during the show. I reached out to Sam. He was unavailable to come on to the show today. I've been trying to get Sam on this show for months. It's funny. We've had like multiple dates where it's like, all right, he's going to come on the show this day, and then one of us has to change something at the last minute. So I'm going to get Sam on this show because I am very interested to talk to him. He's kind of a friend of mine. And I'm very interested to talk to him about how the NIL works. And he had great interactions with fans the other day, and I promoted it on my Twitter account, but I want to discuss it more in depth on the show today. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about just college basketball in general, because, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't checked your calendar today, I got 3 words for you. To quote the great John Rothstein, this is March. It is upon us. The best month of sports is finally here. The end of the college basketball regular season, leading into the conference tournaments, which I love. I love the conference tournaments. Not quite as much as the Madness, but it's close. Going into the best tournament in all of sports, the NCAA men's basketball tournament. Women's basketball tournament, great as well. But the NCAA men's basketball tournament, the Madness is back. And I'm excited to talk about it. We're going to go through some potential number 1 seeds who I think has the best chance to come away with the trophy at the end of the year. And just talk about college basketball in general. It's been a very interesting college basketball season. Some big upsets. And Jim says it will be even better when the tourney goes to 78 teams. I know you're being sarcastic, Jim, but we're going to talk about that too. Because Josh and I were talking about this last week after the show. You have a perfect tournament, NCAA. Perfect tournament. I am tired of the constant ideas of tinkering, trying to expand it. You have the perfect number of teams right now. Just let it be. And we'll talk more about that. But we do have to take a time out. We'll be back in just a few minutes here on Outside the Box Score, your home for local sports in Syracuse on the Score 1260. For the best local beer in central New York, the only place you need to look is Myers Creek Brewing Company, with 16 different beers on tap at both the Inner Harbor in Syracuse and the Palace that is the Casanova location. Myers Creek has something for everyone. Want a bite to eat? Both locations feature a kitchen with delicious pizzas, some of the best wings in Syracuse, and much more. Make sure to check out our friends at Myers Creek Brewing Company, the official bar of Outside the Box Score.
What if life's great?
I don't know why this is not working correctly on YouTube. I got a text saying, like, yeah, the show doesn't sound right on YouTube. It's not, like, it's nothing from here. Like, I don't know what that problem is on YouTube. It's not usually like that. Yeah, this is not great. Yeah, I know. It sounds awful, Jim. I just looked at it. Like I said, I got a text. And it's like, yeah, it was like your microphone or something doesn't sound right. It's not my microphone. I don't think. Does it sound fine on Twitch? Oh, it's bad on Twitch too? Great. Of course, we're having technical difficulties. That's awesome. How about on Twitter? Okay, so it's just bad everywhere. It doesn't sound bad in my headphones, which is what was throwing me off. And we're back outside the box score with me, Mark Rowlands, your home for local sports in Syracuse, right here on the score 1260. Just currently trying to figure out, we had some seemingly audio issues on the stream, which, in case you didn't know, you can tune into this show every week, not only over the terrestrial radio on 1260 AM, WSKO, the score 1260, or on the Score 1260 app or the Score1260.com. Oh, you have all those wonderful options, but you can also watch the show. I've got a camera set up in here and watch the show live on my Twitter account, which is marker_box. You take that username, go to Twitch, same thing, twitch.tv/marker_box. Or you could go to youtube.com, the Score 1260 YouTube channel. Currently, like I said, having hopefully not too bad, some audio issues here. Did the old unplug the microphone, plug the mic back in, hope that works, and just juggle cords around, all the real high-tech audio stuff that I know how to do. Listen, I'm not an engineer. I'm a broadcaster. But it is Saturday, and I'm not going to call up Dave Edwards, our head engineer, our lovely head engineer here at the Score 1260, and make him come over here. So hopefully, if you are listening over traditional air, it doesn't sound that bad. It could just be an internet thing. But anyway, we prevail. So the other day, I'm scrolling Twitter, as I often do. I'm on there all the time. And I see Sam Holland. Like I said, kind of a friend of a friend. We share a mutual friend. Saying, hey, you got some time to kill. I'm going to answer any questions you have about Syracuse NIL. And there were a lot of great questions that came in. But the one I wanted to go to first, which I think is interesting, was Sam just said this unprompted. He wasn't asked about it. He said, Orange United, which is Syracuse's NIL collective, one that I donated to, and we will get into that in a second as well. Orange United is managed by SANIL. That's Say Nil. That's the parent company. It's all capitals. It stands for something. Who was just bought out by Blueprint Sports. Okay, sure. That's fine. Another parent company buying a company, that's business. Companies buy companies, all that stuff. Jim says the stream is perfect sound now. Okay, cool. The thing with Blueprint and Sanil, SANIL, Sam says, quote, I believe they take a 19% management fee on all funds that go into the collective. So there's that. Interesting. Now, when Syracuse fans like myself and many others decide I'm going to take some of my hard-earned money, and I'm not going to sit here and act like I was a big donor. I wasn't. But with NIL and wanting to support Syracuse athletics, I said, okay, I'm going to donate not a ton of money, but I'll work out, this much a month, and Oh, Jim meant the radio stream site. Well, I'm glad the score1260.com works and the score1260 app. I'm glad I sound good on there. Twitch, YouTube, I don't know what's going on there right now. It might be a StreamYard issue. I have no idea. But so Orange United was taking money that I was sending to the university to support the players in 20% almost, 19%, but for all intents and purposes, 20% of that money goes straight into the pocket of the parent company. I understand this is how business works. I figured it would be 5%, 10%. 20% seems like a lot. And then David Caggie, who's a longtime Syracuse fan, big on Twitter, brought up something that I also thought was interesting. Can we talk about how Orange United offered things based on membership level, and after a year of membership, I got nothing? Now, I didn't make it a full year. I did about 8 months. And this is a great point. And he posted a screenshot from the original Orange United webpage. These have since been removed from the webpage. But there were 5 different membership classes: the Express, Dome Suite Dome, Empire State, Glory of Cuse, and Honor 44. Those are increasing in price per month. So some of the, like for the lowest tier, the Express, which was $10.99 a month, personally what I chose to get. Free subscription to their newsletter, access to written content through Orange United, a family pass of 4 to 1 meet the team event, a raffle entry, and a store voucher. I didn't get any of those. Not once. I didn't get any of that for being a Orange United donor. Then, as you go up in price, you have more more perks for how much you give, like the Honor 44 tier for $249.99 a month. You can have a free subscription to the newsletter. Hey, I got that for $11. Access to all content through Orange United, which I'm not entirely sure how much content they put out to begin with, but okay. A family pass for 4 people to all meet the team events. Cool. A quarterly raffle entry, a store voucher, a team training card pack, autographed memorabilia, and passes to all team VIP experiences. It's not a bad, listen, that's a lot of perks for that $250 a month to be in the Honor 44 tier. Perks that no one saw. And Sam said the overarching issue with this collective is managed by a national organization that operates at dozens of schools. They take a big management fee. Because of that, they can't seem to invest in necessary areas like media. The centralized collective needs to be ran locally, not through a business that's, here's the big thing, for profit. That's where the big one comes in. So SUNIL is run by this for-profit company that promises all of these perks if you are willing to donate some of your hard-earned money to the university, to the players at the university specifically. It is a name, image, and likeness fund. This is money that is supposed to be going to the players in some capacity. And it's just this company taking a big chunk of it and not following through on things that they told their donors that they would give them. Doesn't seem right. Doesn't seem right to me at all. Steve Nykum, you may remember him from being on a different radio station here in Syracuse. No longer there, but he was. He says, I was unaware of this setup. Seems outrageous. Also, probably why SU football NIL seems to be more effective than Orange United. Interesting. That's right. I forgot the SU football NIL is different from Orange United. Not something that's talked about very much. But I know, thanks to our friends at Myers Creek Brewing Company, that it is a different thing. Because Myers Creek has a beer called Dart. It's a Pilsner. It's delicious. They have a beer called Dart. And when you buy a 4-pack of that beer, a part of that money goes directly into the SU football NIL fund, not to Orange United. So there are multiple revenue streams for name, image, and likeness at Syracuse University that a lot of people don't really know about. And SU football NIL is doing quite well. I know they've got some big donors out there, but they were able to bring in a quarterback who won 11 games at Ohio State University to play at Syracuse for, well, I know approximately, based on what I've heard, around $700,000. Pretty good. Pretty good. And then you have Alan Griffin, a sitting assistant coach on Syracuse University for the basketball team, going on a show and saying, we got to find our McCord. Interesting. You're in the middle of the season. You got 3 games left, Griff. And you're talking about, yeah, we gotta find that. You got to find that transfer that's going to really make a difference. I thought that guy was Eddie Lampkin. I thought we went out. We got a big man from Colorado who just performed well in the NCAA tournament to come in and be a difference maker on the Syracuse team. A Syracuse team that, since Jesse Edwards left, has struggled at the big man position. And even before Jesse Edwards, has struggled to have consistent big man play. I thought that was the difference maker. I thought maybe we allocated funds to a guy like Eddie Lampkin to be that guy for this year. It's just, I don't know. It's just an interesting series of events here going on with Syracuse NIL in general, specifically basketball. Football is a little bit of a different beast, but just now knowing what I know, at least a little bit about SUNIL, thanks to what Sam said, and Sam has much more information on his Twitter page, and I highly recommend you go to it, Sam_Holland2. Because he did a great job the other day breaking things down. That's just a little snippet of the things that Sam talked about and just something that I wanted to bring up. But I highly recommend, if you are an active Twitter user, go and read through Sam's entire thread from February 25th because it's very informative. And all of a sudden, these things are coming to light that. And he also said at one point, which I've got to find the exact tweet, but he said pretty much that SU just wasn't ready for NIL to happen. SU wasn't prepared for the start of name, image, and likeness. But I don't know, man. It's just maybe things aren't as good as we were hoping they were going to be over there on University Hill. That's all I'm going to say. Hopefully it gets better. Hopefully they prepare better going into this offseason because Lord knows the conference tournament doesn't matter. and hopefully they prepare better going into this offseason. I'm hoping we keep Donnie Freeman. I'm hoping we keep Elijah Moore. We keep J.J. Sterling, bring in Kyan Anthony and Sadiq White. Go get that big transfer and give Orange fans something to be excited about again next year. Maybe they throw it all away again. I don't know. But at least have something for us to be excited for, because right now, the way it's looking, I ain't going to be too excited for next year. And that's for sure. So, check out Sam at Sam_Holland2 on Twitter. A lot of great things coming from him the other day. Like I said, that was February 25th. Take a time out. We'll be back in just a bit. You're on Outside the Box Score, your home for local sports in Syracuse on the Score 1260. If you're a fan of local craft beer, the only place you need to go is Myers Creek Brewing Company, with 16 brews on tap at both the Cazenovia and Inner Harbor locations. Myers Creek has the best selection of locally brewed libations in all of Central New York. Want a nice hazy IPA? The Velvet Fog is a must-try. More of a traditional Pilsner, how about the Floating on By? And for you sour drinkers, the It Takes Blue to Mango. So crack open a cold one with you. Outside Box Score, Myers Creek. We're just changing the mic input. Does this sound better? I'm just going to use the webcam microphone, which doesn't sound as good when it's, when my microphone sounds good, but I'm still talking into this microphone like it matters. It doesn't. Hopefully this sounds better and you can still hear me okay, because that was really annoying. I wanted to be able to clip that segment, and now it's going to be a lot harder for me to do so. Okay, yeah, it sounds better. Yeah, I knew it wouldn't be scratchy. I was just hoping the actual audio quality would be good. I don't typically like using this microphone. I mean, it's just a small mic built into a webcam. Hey, Stone! There he is. Host of the best show on the internet, the Half Ounce Half Hour. Usually every other Thursday at 8 p.m. live on Stone Sports Podcast Twitch account. And hopefully on Twitter coming up. As long as Armchair gives the access to the Twitter account back. You can check out the Half Ounce Half Hour. Weird news stories brought to you by our friend Stone Sports Podcast, featuring me and Josh. It's kind of the Outside the Box Score after dark, if you want to call it that. You might have a beverage or two, discuss news stories and funny news stories, not real news. And we just have a blast. Do we stay away from Syracuse plus 3.5 today? Jim, I've stayed away from Syracuse all season. 3.5, Virginia Tech. I mean, I guess they're better. I mean, not much. They're 7-10 in conference, 12-16 on the season. They're saying it's a pick 'em at a neutral site. I don't know, Jim. Also, since we're about to talk about the state of college basketball, congrats to the people who've been saying the ACC is mid for 5 years, because they were finally right. It took them a few years to, when they were like, oh, the ACC is so down this year. It wasn't down. It was just a lot of decent to good teams beating each other up. Now it's bad. Now the ACC is bad. Now they're right.
It's the #1 selling testosterone boosting brand at GNC and Walmart. Do it now, and they'll also send you a bottle of Eugenics Herbal X, the most powerful fat burner ever. Absolutely free. Text RULE to 42424. That's rule to 42424. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not diagnosed, treat, cure, or
And we're back outside the box score with me, Mark Rowlands, your home for local sports in Syracuse, right here on the score 1260. Going to talk about a little bit about the state of college basketball right now, because, like I said earlier, in the words of the great John Rothstein, this is March. Very excited for the start of the NCAA tournament coming up. Conference tournaments starting soon. Always a great time. Always a great time if you're a bettor, too. Folks who listen to the show know I like to place the occasional wager on college basketball, and always the best time is this time. When you're sitting there on Thursday afternoon for the first day of March Madness, and you got a little action on every game, sitting there with the boys, it's always a fun time. So, very excited for the start of the tournament. I was just talking about during the break. Shout out to all the people who the past 4 years have said the ACC sucks because they're finally right. Not a good year for the ACC in terms of top to bottom, in terms of actual competition. Only 7 teams in the conference have a conference record above 500: Duke, Louisville, Clemson, SMU, Wake Forest, North Carolina, and Stanford. And not a lot of, just a lot of mediocrity in the conference this year. In previous years, I think it was the teams were better and just beating themselves more, like beating up on each other, but not the case this year. ACC kind of stinking at basketball this year, which is okay. Every conference has down years. But I want to talk about nationally. We're getting ready to go into the best time of year. Who do I think are the teams with the best shot at winning it all when March rolls around? I got a few teams here that I want to talk about. I've got the Ken Pom rankings up, also looking at the AP Top 25 poll. I don't read too much into Ken Pom every year, but it is a nice resource if you want to look at offensive rating, net rating, strength of schedule. It is a very good resource. So I've got Ken Pom ratings up and the AP rankings in front of me. Let's just start with the big one. Yeah, Duke's going to make a run this year. I actually think they will. I think Cooper Flagg is easily the most talented freshman in the country, obviously. The guy has been a tremendous addition for Duke this year. Got to see him in person at the JMA Wireless Dome, a game that he really didn't show off like Josh and I thought he would, but he's just been tremendous this year. 19 points a game, 7.5 rebounds, 4 assists, over a steal, over a block, shooting 50% from the field, 82% from the free throw line, and almost 40% from three. Just a tremendous season for the freshman, and I fully expect him to go on a run in the tournament and maybe even pick up some of that classic Duke villain status that we know so well after watching this team for so long. They've always got a great villain, and maybe that'll be Cooper Flagg now that we're in the month of March. Auburn, led by Bruce Pearl, have been tremendous this year. 26-2, first in the SEC. Johnny Broom has been great. 18.8 points per game, 11 rebounds, 2.5 blocks. The most dominant big man in the country this year. I mean, he's a forward, but I say big man. Most dominant front court player in the country this year. And him and Flagg are going to be battling it out for that National Player of the Year honor. I'm not super high on Florida. I think Florida is good, but I'm not as high on them as I am Duke and Auburn. Houston, Tennessee, Alabama. I'm a sucker for Bama, man. I bet a lot of Bama overs. That team loves to score points. And I love watching Bama in the tournament. So I might be suckered in to Alabama again. But those teams, again, I don't think they're on the same level as Auburn and Duke. There's one more team that I think really has a great chance to make it to the Final Four, to make a championship run. And they're located right here in New York State. Rick Pitino has got these Johnnies playing some basketball, man. St. John's is one of my favorite teams to watch in the country. I've watched them a lot. Now, what they don't do is shoot the three particularly well. They only shoot 30% from three as a team. And I know they're a little lower in the Ken Palm rankings than the other teams I just mentioned. Duke's 1, Auburn's 2, Houston is 3, Florida's 4, Tennessee's 5, Alabama is 6. Then you go down to 14, which is where the Johnnies sit. So not in that same tier. Plus 25 on the net rating, which is good. Offensive rating of 114, which is solid, but below a team like Clemson, Purdue, Kentucky. The defensive rating, 88.9. Good for second in the country behind Tennessee. And we saw that Tennessee defense up close. Second best defense in the country, according to Ken Palm. So they've got a top 2 defense, but a top 80 offense. They're currently 71st in offensive rating. Now, I know the goal is you got to be top, I think it's top 20 in both. Every team the last 20 years or something that's won has been top 20 in both offensive and defensive rating or something like that when it comes to Ken Palm. So I know they're not there offensively. But this team can defend as good as anyone, and they have the best coach in the country. Rick Pitino, this is the 5th team, or looking to become the 5th team that he's won a regular season conference championship with. Unheard of. An absolutely unheard of stat. Rick Pitino is the definition of if he is your coach, you are going to win basketball games. Plain and simple. He's a national champion. He is a defensive wizard. I think St. John's has a real chance to be hoisting a trophy at the end of the year, because it's just a lot of fun to watch them. And like I said, I think they've got the best coach in the country, bar none, and one of the 5 best coaches in the history of college basketball at the helm. We've talked about on this show before how high Josh and I are on Rick Pitino as a coach. Not talking about any of the other stuff, even though we all remember that 2013 Louisville team winning the national championship, even though the NCAA doesn't want you to know that. I remember watching that team. I remember Kevin Ware's leg breaking in half. All right? I watched those games. I know Rick Pitino won that national championship. But as a coach, flat out, I think you'd be hard-pressed to find 5 more better coaches in the history of college basketball than Rick Pitino. Couple other teams I like, maybe not, national champion contender, but teams that I think will win a couple of games and, maybe surprise someone in March. I love Creighton. Big Creighton guy. Greg McDermott has done a great job with that program. I think they're always feisty, and they've been doing pretty well in the Big East this year, sitting at 20-8 on the season. Not the dominant Creighton teams that we've seen in the past. But Ryan Kalkbrenner and Greg McDermott have that team playing well. And so I like them to make a little noise in the NCAA tournament. That's all I'm going to. I don't think they're going to, go super far, but I like them to make a little noise in the tournament. Illinois, a fun one coming out of the Big Ten. They've had a really solid year in the Big Ten this year. Ken Palm really likes them. They're 22nd in the Ken Palm rankings, despite their 18-11 record. Ken Palm really likes Illinois, and a team that I'm looking for them on here, but I can't seem to find. Oh, there they are, 74th in Ken Palm, which I know it's not great. Okay, but they've got a really good defense, and hoping to come out of the Atlantic 10, which is becoming a great or has become a great basketball conference. There's two A10 teams I want to talk about. First one, George Mason has had a really fun year this year. They're 22-6. They started out red hot. 94.8 defensive rating, good for 16th in the country. Offense, they don't score. Plain and simple. They're 212th in offensive rating. They don't score at all. But they've been fun to watch. They're a really good defensive team and could make some noise just with a early upset in the NCAA tournament. And the other A10 team, VCU. VCU out of the A10, 24-5, 22nd in defensive rating, 43rd in offensive rating. Just a really solid all-around team at VCU. And we all love the upsets. That's what March is all about. The first two rounds of the madness are all about the upsets. We love seeing the 15s take down the 2s, the 16s taking down the 1s when that's happened a couple of times. We love a good 12 seed that makes a run. Syracuse made a run as an 11 seed. Like, it's always fun to watch these double-digit seeds do anything in the tournament. And the A10 has become a really good basketball conference. You got the Bonnies, Dayton, Davidson, VCU, George Mason. Really solid. But we know those are going to be double-digit seeds. And we know that they've got a real chance to win a game in the NCAA tournament. And lastly, the one I want to mention, out of the Big West, UC San Diego is 35th in the Ken Palm rankings, which I don't know what the highest rankings for a Big West team have been in Ken Palm. That seems pretty damn good. 37th in defensive rating, 51st in offensive rating. UC San Diego are currently 25-4 on the season. Having a great season out there on the West Coast. And another one to watch out for. I know that Gonzaga is the big dog in this conference, but out of the West Coast, St. Mary's having a great year. 19th in Ken Palm rankings. They're 26-4, 9th in defensive rating, 47th in offensive rating. Kind of the inverse of what Gonzaga is doing this year. Gonzaga's offense, great as it often is. Defense, struggling a little bit, 36th in the country. I say struggling, but in terms of what we're looking for a potential national championship contender. So there's just some of the teams that I think could make some noise come March Madness. Got to take a timeout. We'll be back in just a minute here on Outside the Box Score, your home for local sports in Syracuse on the Score 1260.
For the best local beer in Central New York, the only place you can look is Myers Creek Brewing Company with 16 different beers on tap at both the Inner Harbor in Syracuse and the Palace that is the Cazenovia location. Myers Creek has something for everyone. Want a bite to eat? Both locations feature a kitchen with delicious pizzas, some of the best wings in Syracuse, and much more. Make sure to check out our friends at Myers Creek Brewing Company, the official bar of Outside the Box Score.
Fabric Talk. Hello, my love. I am your living room carpet. I see everything. I feel
Yeah, I do like to blame
everything.
Josh, but I actually did run a little over with that. Why am I talking into the mic? I did run a little over with that break, actually. So I was a touch late, but that's fine. Let's just blame Josh.
At Corey's Landscaping, the staffing plan is in the weeds.
Anthony, need that leaf blower over here. One new customer request. Who wants to work some overtime?
He needs to dig up quality landscapers and fast.
I need it deep.
Indeed, you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 for
I'm currently in like day 6 of a fantasy baseball draft. 12-hour pick clock, dynasty draft, 31 rounds. I hate my team. I got some guys I like. Got Mark Vientos on there. Got Marcelo Meyer. No, I don't auto pick Jim. Absolutely not. I mean, I pick before I go to sleep, but it's all about how the timing works out, you know. I got some good prospects. Marcelo Meyer, shortstop prospect for the Red Sox. Rhett Lauder, one of the top pitching prospects in baseball for the Reds. Cam Caminiti and Drew Hackenberg, a couple of Braves pitching prospects. Jackson Jobe, top pitching prospect for Detroit. So I got some good prospects that hopefully they pan out and this league lasts a while. Red Sox farm system is decent. Best in baseball. I picked up another one, Blaze Jordan, who went viral when he was like 13 years old for hitting bombs. Red Sox drafted him, so I picked him up. Got a couple of Syracuse Mets, Jet Williams, Drew Gilbert on the squad. Current freshman at Stanford, Rintaro Sasaki, who won't be in the big leagues until 2030. He's on my squad. When you get into these late rounds of these big dynasty drafts, you're taking anybody. We've had some guys take. Russell Wilson got drafted in this league. Yeah, Russell Wilson. Trevor Bauer and Yasiel Puig are on rosters. It's just it's madness. It's absolute madness. The end of this draft, but I got some guys. I said Mark Vientos, Jaron Duran, Royce Lewis, Yordan Alvarez. I got some guys. Logan O'Hoppe, one of my favorite catchers in baseball. Not just because of his name, but his name helps. I think my pitching staff's going to be good. I got a lot of good young pitchers. But it's taking so long. So long. Also, college baseball is back, and that makes me happy. Get to watch my Arkansas Razorbacks. And we're back outside the box score with me, Mark Rowlands, your home for local sports in Syracuse, right here on the score 1260. We're just talking to Jim and Stone and stuff during the break about the Dynasty Baseball draft I'm currently in. It's in like day 6. It's taking forever, but it's a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun doing it, so excited for the season to start. Baseball season is kind of officially underway. Spring training has begun. College baseball is back. So excited to actually be able to watch baseball again. I did watch the Dominican Winter League finals. Absolutely electric. Got me missing the game I love once again. But we are now less than a month away from the start of the Major League Baseball regular season. And then it's 162 games of chaos until the playoffs. And I cannot wait. As you know, if you listen to the show, baseball is my favorite sport. It is the sport I love the most. So very, very excited to gear up once again for baseball season. A couple other sports stories I wanted to touch on. I'm not going to talk about Aaron Rodgers possibly going to the New York Giants because that just seems stupid. But another quarterback is potentially on the market, Matthew Stafford, out of the Los Angeles Rams, wants a new contract with the Rams, but if he can't get it, he's been given permission to talk to teams. Giants potential. Oh, actually, never mind. Breaking news as of this morning. Matthew Stafford agreed to a restructured deal with the Rams. I did not see this. So he will not be leaving. Damn, that's what I wanted to talk about. Anyway, Matthew Stafford still with the Rams. Never mind. Did not see that. Did not see that headline. All right, I guess I'll talk about Aaron Rodgers. You know how much I hate talking about Aaron Rodgers, but leaving the Jets. We knew that. Jets said, A-Rod, we don't want you. We don't want you no more. So he's going to be moving on. And I guess the New York Giants are one of the teams very interested in Aaron Rodgers staying in New Jersey, staying in the same stadium, just playing for the other team. And what are the Giants doing? This is why the Giants are bad every year. They're starting to become like the Jets. And this is a problem. You know how many quarterbacks the New York Giants currently have under contract? The same amount of touchdown passes that I've thrown in the NFL. 0. There isn't a single quarterback on the Giants roster, which, fine, that happens to some teams. You know, Tommy DeVito, no longer there. Drew Lock, no longer there. They got rid of Daniel Jones last year, shipped him off to Minnesota to back up Sam Darnold. Why is that the guy? And I know it's not a great quarterback draft in terms of potential superstars. Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders could be something. Kyle McCord got a lot of love at the East-West Bowl. See how his combine numbers look, the NFL combine going on. So see how the combine numbers look, all that stuff. He's going to be a mover up on people's draft boards, but it's not that. It's not the Trevor Lawrence draft. It's not the Joe Burrow draft. It's not the one with Baker and Darnold and Allen and Lamar, where we all thought, this is the greatest quarterback draft of all time. It's not that. But the Giants continue to just tinker and make all the wrong decisions. And Aaron Rodgers would be next in a long line of wrong decisions. Just ask Saquon Barkley about the Giants' wrong decisions. That's Super Bowl champ Saquon Barkley, by the way. I just don't get it. I don't get what this team is doing. I don't get the direction that they want to go in. Do they love sucking every year? Aaron Rodgers had a fine year for the Jets. Guess what? Jets still stunk. All right? He was okay. He wasn't MVP Aaron Rodgers. He wasn't most talented quarterback to ever step on a football field Aaron Rodgers, because people remember that was a conversation we used to have. And some people still think it. I think it was Josh said he still believes that. This is 42-year-old Aaron Rodgers. And people are going to say, well, I mean, Brady. Look at what Brady did when he was old. He won a Super Bowl with Tampa Bay. You got to stop comparing people to Tom Brady. Just got to stop. There's never been anyone like Tom Brady to ever step on a football field. And there never will be anyone else like Tom Brady to ever step on a football field when it comes to longevity and greatness at an older age. So let's just stop. And the Giants know they're not going to win a Super Bowl this year. They're not going to win their division this year. They're pretty easily the fourth best team in that division. It's not even particularly close. The Eagles just won the Super Bowl. They beat the Commanders in the playoffs. And Dallas is Dallas. Who knows what they're going to be like next year? They've got a new head coach in Schottenheimer, but who knows? But they're not going to be as bad as the Giants. So I don't see the appeal of bringing in Aaron Rodgers. All he does is cause headaches. He caused headaches in Green Bay. He caused headaches for Jets fans. And he's going to cause headaches for Giants fans if he signs there. So good luck to any New York Giants fans out there listening. Jim said he put money on SU +4. I hope they cover for you, Jim. 12 o'clock on the CW. Coming on right now, right as this show is going to come to a close. You can listen to me say, go Orange, but I don't like him at +4. We'll see you next week, ladies and gentlemen. 11 a.m., same time, same channel, right here on the Score 1260. We'll see you then. Peace. All right, see you, folks.